Hey guys, how's it going? We are going to be playing some more Champion of the Gods by JV Junior Varsity. I don't know. I don't think I've checked my. I don't think I really checked my stats too much. Humility. Holy cow! I'm at 91% for that. My logic is at 85, which means my passion is only at 15. I have no passion. Nothing drives me. The first day of the journey to Kelenos is a dark one in spirit. Thoughts of the fallen soldiers seem to hang in the air around the riders, but the journey changes character as the caravan draws closer to the city. Then the ashes of the bonfire recede, and the taste of victory returns. The soldiers begin to laugh again, to brag again. By the time Kelenos is at last in view, the air is one of celebration, not sadness. When you enter the gates, you are greeted by a fall of white petals, and the cheer of the crowd. You look up at the people calling from the balconies. They have not yet learned of your great showing on the battlefield, but they will hear of it soon enough. And when they do, any who yet doubted your destiny will know that it is great indeed. You ride past the palace balustrade from which Princess Narula observes the army's return. She tosses a handful of petals. Kiana breaks formation to catch them. 4 months later. The Gallery of the Heroes. Before you is an island on a clear blue sea, floating like a vision under a cloudless sky. Lush verdure on the shoreline sweetens the air. You look around you. You are on a wide, low ship surrounded by sailors. Is this another dream? Their oars have been abandoned, and they stand by your side watching the shore. General Kiana stands among them. A lesbian being promoted to general? Nah. You try to remember how you got here. You look back at the events of the last 4 months, most notably your advancement to lieutenant under General Kiana, your growing from within the city after your showing in the Tamak battle. We're going to go with the Tamak battle. But even that cannot explain how you would come to be on these strange shores. The more you think about it, the less sense it all makes. After all, I've never been on a boat in my life. I would have no way of knowing how to get here. There's no reason for me to journey into the sea. And with that thought, the world fades like shadows in sunlight. You awaken with a start on your bed in the palace chambers. Meredith sits up groggily from his bed, the opposite wall. He eyes you suspiciously and blinks. A dream, you explain. A vision, he corrects. I can see it from the look on your face, from the way that you have seen remains with... From the way what you have seen remains with you even now. He closes his eyes again. Time will tell if it persists. His snore returns almost immediately to haunt the room. Perhaps he is right. Perhaps your visions have returned. The weavers are indeed mysterious, but I treasure their riddles. I am ready to end these quiet months and return to the fray. I had hoped for a longer rest before my destiny carried me away again. Go with that one. You have known that the weavers would come calling. You would only hope they would not return so soon. But when the dream persists, as Meredith predicted, night after night, you know for certain that it is a vision of your destiny. You decide to tell General Kiana at the training yard. The waters you describe put me in mind of the forgotten sea, she says. It is a treacherous place. One moment serene, the next moment tumult. Kelenos has lost so many sailors there. Only a fool would dare cross it. But there are those who say it is not merely the weather that is to blame. Kiana regales you with some of the myths and rumors that persist about these waters. The stories she tells you are strange and fanciful, especially the one that claims a giant on an island in the forgotten sea keeps a collection of sailors in a cave. Okay, a feral wolf made of fire pulls trespassers into the sky above. A great carnivorous eye hides there in a whirlpool. That sounds like it would suck. Hearing these tales, a familiar feeling seizes you. You first experienced it when Meredith told you of the Demina Pass, and next when King Tryphon offered you a post in the Kelenos army. It is a feeling of destiny taking you by the hand. You and Kiana report to the king the next day. Princess Narula observes your audience from the wings of the royal chamber, doing her best not to stare at your companion too closely. You wonder if her father is yet aware of their affair. Standing before the throne, You recount your vision to the king. He nods excitedly. I trust in this omen, Benjamin. There are none in the city who can doubt that you are beloved by the gods. But there is one obstacle. If we are to fulfill your vision, and send a crew into such treacherous waters, I must offer them more than a dream to sail by. And so, what do you hope to achieve by conquering the forgotten sea? You respond from the heart. Fulfillment of a ghost's destiny for the good of all, an opportunity to prove this warrior's nobility to all the world, safe journeys by sea for the people of Kelenos, the pleasure of bringing death to those who dare challenge my power, respect for those soldiers who would honor my quest with their talents, to beat the weavers at their game of destiny in which I have been imprisoned. We'll go with for the good of all. I am sure you are right in conquering the forgotten sea. We may even open our city to trade with the eastern lands. Who can say? In time, our sailors may even discover the fabled city of Minodia. What is this Minodia? You quietly asked General Kiana. It borders the eastern lands, she explains in a whisper. Supposedly the people of Minodia can heal even the ravages of time itself. A myth, of course, but one long treasured by our king and anyone else of advanced age. You will be given a ship, King Tryphon declares, oblivious to Kiana's aside. It will have space for 50 sailors. General Kiana will accompany you on your journey. You are free to choose the remainder of your crew how you see fit. Next. The king looks to Kiana now. You have done well to bring this matter before me, General Kiana. Bring Benjamin's visions to its fruition, and all you seek shall be yours. Hearing this, the princess exchanges a surprised look with Kiana, as though these words have unseen implications for them. Benjamin, I thank you, General Kiana replies. You will not be disappointed. You and General Kiana bow together and leave the throne room. As you return to the training yard, you ask her about the king's mysterious words. It seems the king holds some power over you, and the princess as well. Are you beholden to him in some way? I will tell you, but you must keep the secret between we two. The general looks about furtively, and then whispers, Have you perhaps sensed that there is a connection between the princess and myself? Never. Do you mean to say that you are in love? I have perhaps noticed that the two of you share a close friendship. Your love for each other is apparent as the sun at noontime. We'll go with that one, because it's pretty obvious. I feared it was so. Kiana sighs. Did the king discover your courtship? No! We revealed our bond to him ourselves, wishing to show him respect. We had hoped that he would consider me for the princess. What was his response? A disappointing one. Until I have proven my worth to the king, he will not consider me fit for his daughter. The king is nothing but a tyrant. You cannot blame him for seeking to protect his throne. You are a general already. Is your worth not already proven? You should have kept your love a secret. I am sure that you will prevail. Do not let love make a fool of you. I'm sure you'll prevail. Time alone will tell. Though I have risen in rank, I am but a stranger in this city. Like yourself, I have only my achievements to distinguish me. That is why our quest means much to me. Do not mistake me. I have no hopes that we will find Minodia, but if we tame the forgotten sea, the king will certainly relent, and my happiness with Narula will be assured. All my hope is owed to you. I am heartened that you recognize my greatness. You are a woman of worth and could achieve alone all that you credit to me. Do you dare use my destiny as a stepping stone? All that I am is owed to the weavers. She could probably best me if she really wanted to. I could not. Were it not for your destiny, make no mistake, Benjamin, it will be my salvation. Why is my destiny her salvation? With these words, Kiana descends into silence. You cannot help but feel there is something else she is keeping from you, even now. But that is no surprise. You long ago accepted that Kiana is a mystery, disquieting as mysteries can be. Indeed, you have lost count of your reasons for thinking her one. Why is her destiny... There was something Meredith said about her destiny being... like destinies being intertwined or something like that. Her secret visits to the temple of Sephiel, though she seldom speaks of faith, her passionate devotion to Kalinos, despite having told her the way her eyes filled tears just now at the mention of your destiny. Yeah, what about this destiny? As you are the source of the vision that inspired the quest, Kiana insists that you take the helm of the vessel that will fulfill it. Despite the difference in your rank, the next day... What? Wait, you begin assembling your crew. It will consist of yourselves, your old companions Hethkos, and 47 other sailors, handpicked from the brightest talents in your army. But the question is how to train them, General Kiana posits. This will not be formal combat. They must learn new techniques. Together you decide to train your crew how to execute aggressive maneuvers, relentless and evasive maneuvers, combat strategies that rely on keeping enemy at bay or avoiding them, stealthy maneuvers that rely on silence and subterfuge. We're going to go evasive. But wait, why would she give me the helm if there's a difference in rank? There is some really big secret she's hiding from me. 65 aggressive, 80 evasive, and 50 stealth. But to learn defensive maneuvers, one must necessarily develop the skills to properly attack the enemy, and so your soldiers develop an auxiliary capacity for aggressive maneuvers. It takes only 2 weeks' time for your crew to reach the edge of the Forgotten Sea. For days after that, it seems you will find nothing there. Its waters are gentle, but one quiet day at noon, the light begins to fade quickly from the sky. A storm forms above you, its clouds thickening before your eyes. The world turns dark outright, and soon your galley is pitching violently. You stand at the steering arm, braving the waves that crash on the deck, while you call the rhythm to the rowers. They do their best to keep pace, though they can barely hear you over the sound of the storm. They begin to lose their unity, and the ship to grow even more unsteady. You speak your true feelings. Trust in the gods, faith in guidance. You are great warriors. Trust in yourself. If you fools die in the storm, we'll call them great warriors. Maybe that will help them. As you clutch the steering bar, you sense something strange. The tension from the storm is loosening the rudder in your hands. Indeed, it is as though the storm is not attacking the ship at all, but guiding it. The angry clouds dissipate, and there it is, the island from your dream on a clear blue sea. What dream? I dreamed about Kalinos. Yet its familiarity is no comfort, for even as you approach, you notice that it is surrounded by other vessels. All of them are anchored just offshore, and empty. It is a veritable fleet of abandoned ships. This means there may be allies found here, there's a mystery to be unraveled, all the sailors who piloted these ships are dead, we are in great danger. I would say we're in danger. Hold on to your butts. The ship stops beside the other empty vessels. You lower the anchor stone with Kiana's help, and regard the shore together. There you see something that went unnoticed in your dream, a collection of tall columns on the hilltop, and a white tower beside them. White tower. You order your crew to disembark, weapons at the ready. While they do, a strange man begins making his way down from the hilltop. He wears a long robe that comes to a high collar, and he smiles congenially, as though he is welcoming you to a festival. You may put away your weapons, friends. You will find no danger here, only peace. His manner puts you unpleasantly in mind, the way Charo's father would talk to his sheep. Harmless as he seems, it is as though the man sees you as less than human. To whom do we owe the pleasure? Who is this guy? I am Sarpedon, and this is my island, where I live in peace with my sweet friends. Okay, so he's a vestige of the First Age, because the other person was like talking about family members. Friends, you mean the sailors from these forgotten ships? They are just up the hill. Like you, they are hardy specimens. But I have always said that those who travel the sea are the finest examples of the physical form. Come and meet them. Come to the gallery. Okay, so this guy's fucking crazy. Didn't it say something about, like, somebody keeping people as prisoners in one of the stories? So one of the stories is actually true about the First Age, because the other one, it was talking about the valley, and there was one talking about an island where a giant, like, keeps people. His eyes seem to glow faintly, drawing your own gaze to them like whirlpools. You can see that the sailors standing close to the stranger are already beginning to gather around him, nodding obediently. Already more than half of the crew seems to be in his power. Even Kiana is in his thrall. Order your unaffected sailors to make a stampeding attack on the man. Subtly gesture for the unaffected sailors to sneak with you into the woods to escape the creature's influence, or pretend that you are likewise charmed by the creature's power. Let's fucking kill him. Order him to charge. You order your sailors to move against the sorcerer together, but their improvised attack is ineffective. What is worse, the sailors under Sarpedon's control defend him. A pitched battle ensues. Shit. Rather than let your own crew destroy itself, you command the unpossessed to retreat into the trees with you. Do not bother following them, Sarpedon advises his sailors. They are doomed. Then he raises a finger towards the sky and spins it in a slow circle. At once a dark cloud forms in the heavens, spreading its tendrils in the direction of the forest. Now come with me. Now come along with Sarpedon, my sweet friends. Come with him to the gallery. The others follow after him as he makes his way back up the path to the columns. The storm Sarpedon has conjured above you begins to rumble and churn. A single sinister cloud in an otherwise clear sky. A jagged blast of lightning snaps down from it and splits a tree near your party. Another blast comes down and sets fire to a nearby bush. You are now certain of the cloud's deadly intent, but you notice that it has already faded slightly since the sorcerer conjured it. Perhaps you can outlast its attacks. It will be no more. Order my sailors to flee in separate directions to defuse the storm's attack. Order the sailors to hide in the trees where the storm cannot find them. Personally draw the storm to me and away from the sailors. I'll do that. You decide to put yourself in harm's way rather than endanger your crew. You run into an open field and wait for the oozing cloud to redirect itself towards you. This it does, as though it can sense your presence. You dodge and leap through the forest while it pulls itself through the sky like a faceless beast, raining lightning onto the ground. In time it dissipates, and the sky is clear again by dusk. You return to your crew, and together you make your way up the hilltop. You ascend carefully toward the building that Sarpedon calls his gallery. You halt when you hear a familiar voice carry down from above. I am not yet rid of you? You look up to find Sarpedon peering from his white tower, his eyes bathing you in white light. You order your crew to run to the gallery and follow after them. There you discover something more terrible than you could have imagined possible. The rest of your crew is in the gallery, along with many other sailors, but it appears their bodies have been turned to pale stone from head to toe. They stare blankly ahead, posing with their weapons amidst the columns, but immobile as they are, you are sure they live. You can see that their statues farther back in the gallery have aged, and that others still farther back have died, all while preserved in stone. No doubt Sarpedon is draining their life to bolster his own. You must save these sailors from their awful fate. Before Sarpedon descends from his tower, you peer into the hearts and call out to the prisoners. I see your dreams of victory. Can you hope to fulfill them by rotting here in stone? I see your love for the gods. I see your fear of Sarpedon in your hearts, but your own will is powerful enough to break the spell. We'll go with that one. You are unsure whether your words have been heard, but you must continue trying to reach the prisoners. Granicos, Adelpha, Clytus, sailors of the forgotten sea, awake, I beg you. Only you can rescue our hopes of defeating this enemy. You are heroes, one and all, and I depend on your valor. Little by little, the color returns to their flesh, and the statues begin to move. You see Kiana walking among them. Even some sailors who were not on your boat have been freed. But not everyone is liberated. Of the sailors who came before you, many remain in stone, and if Sarpedon's gifts are anything like Seba's, this means that you have not deprived him of all his power. Right, because he's draining off of them constantly. That will be quite enough, my sweet friend. You turn to find Sarpedon has descended from the tower. He steps onto the center of the gallery and raises his hand to the heavens. Those who would not give their lives unto me shall have them taken. A great cloud forms directly above Sarpedon. Lightning courses within, like vipers poised to strike. Sarpedon points to Erythian, and the sailor is instantly incinerated. What? That's bullshit. It seems this new storm of Sarpedon's is under his direct control. You withdraw deeper into the gallery to find shelter, as Sarpedon's deadly lightning bolts begin striking the columns around you. How do we defeat the sorcerer? How do we defeat this sorcerer? Asked Kiana. He draws magic from the very sky. You are wrong, Kiana. The source of his power is much closer. You point to the statues, which age before your eyes as Sarpedon's spells drain the life from them. Surely attacking them would be the most decisive way to end this battle quickly, but it would mean sacrificing the people still imprisoned in the stone. You order the sailors to dodge Sarpedon's attack while Hethicos leaps across the column tops to dispatch the sorcerer, to sneak between the columns, they're not sneaky, to charge ahead, combine rush, they're not for combined rushes, they failed last time, to draw Sarpedon's attack by dodging behind columns until I can fell the sorcerer with a throw of my spear, to begin smashing the remaining statues en masse. We're not going to do that. Distract him. Your crew dodges behind the columns, drawing Sarpedon's attacks, but also distracting him. Some unfortunates fall to his lightning, but you know you must hide and wait for the ideal moment. Finally, you let your spear sail at his heart. Unfortunately, you aren't nearly strong enough to land a decisive blow on the enemy from such a distance. Seeing this, your sailors decide to rush the sorcerer directly. Several of them are killed in the effort, but they reach him nonetheless. While you feel they have rendered him helpless, you order them to back away. You step forward and behold the sorcerer, almost unrecognizable for his injuries. He cackles breathlessly. "You have done well, sailors of Kalanos. I can no longer fight you. Not with wounds like these." He winces in pain and raises one hand to the storm. "But in my gallery there is power enough yet to leave you something to remember me by." The statues nearest the sorcerer wither to corpses, followed by the fiend himself. From their bodies a sickly green mist begins to rise, coalescing into a cloud and floating out to sea. It seems to speak to you in an ominous whisper. "Remember me to Kalanos." Shit, he's attacking Kalanos now. You regard the gallery. All the statues have turned back to flesh now, for better or worse. Those that still contain life have become sailors again. The others are merely desiccated corpses now, long ago drained by Sarpedon. They must receive the right if they are to ever truly rest. You and the other survivors bury them in the forest, giving them the honor Sarpedon would not. As for the corpse of Sarpedon, make sure he's gone forever, motherfucker. With these newly liberated sailors along for the journey home, your party proves too large to fit on your boat. But it is no matter. You simply commandeer a larger vessel from Sarpedon's collection, and leave the old one here. Perhaps Nidon will take it for an offering. Nidon is a god, I think. Favorable winds bring you to Kalanos in a little over than 2 weeks. When it comes into view, you fully expect to find it ravaged by Sarpedon's storm. Thankfully, the city appears unharmed, but there is an eerie serenity about the place, even when viewed from the sea. Meredith meets your crew as you disembark, with 2 royal guards standing beside him. There is a great sorrow in his heart, the sight of which is terrible to bear. "What is wrong, Meredith?" you ask. He ignores your words as though they have gone unheard. "Tell me of your journey." "Tell me of your journey," he says. "We will walk together to the palace." You and General Kiana follow him while the crew busies itself with the unburdening of your vessel. "Were you successful then?" Meredith asks. "Did you find the secret of the Forgotten Sea?" You tell Meredith of the storm that brought you to Sarpedon's island and the terrible things you found in his gallery. Meredith nods and listens, but his eyes remain far away. As you walk together, the strangeness you sense from the shore of Kalanos becomes a bit more plain. The streets which appeared empty from the water are just as empty as you walk down them. You can hear the sounds of wind and nearby birds, where once you heard the sound of music, movement, and conversation. Finally, you can bear it no longer. You ask Meredith, "Why is the city so quiet? Where have all the people gone? Why is there such sorrow in your heart? Why is there such sorrow in your heart?" Meredith speaks with some difficulty. "I cannot tell you. You must see what has happened for yourself. When you come to the palace, you will understand." A single guard stands at the gates, her heart every bit as burdened as Meredith's. Then, even before you have reached the throne room, you see them, citizens laying on their backs in the corridors of the palace, 2 by 2. Their eyes are shut, their limbs flaccid. "They are as still as corpses," Kiana remarks. "How did this happen?" "A plague from the sea, born from the north, and of a strange hue besides. The citizens took it for a mist from the tides. They thought nothing of it, and they fell one by one into sleep within minutes. The king and others in the palace hid themselves away when we realized what was happening. Many citizens were not so fortunate." Kiana looks into your eyes. Perhaps Sarpedon's storm has laid Kalanos to waste after all. Oops. Meredith leads you silently to the king's great hall. There, laid out on an honored like an honored corpse, is the body of Princess Nurala. A maudlin King Tryphon sits vigil beside her, looking much older than he did when you looking for something real quick on my desk. Seems to be missing. Much older than you did when you first left for the Forgotten Sea. I had thought she was with us, King Tryphon recounts, when we descended into the cellars, but we found her on the balcony when we emerged. I have been by her side ever since. Kiana walks slowly toward the body of Princess Nurala. As the general approaches, the king reaches up for her hand, clutching it in his own. They regard the princess together, as though hypnotized by their own sorrow. Meredith stands behind you, whispering so that only you can hear his voice. Their hearts are slowing, and they will continue to do so. The eldest seem to be dying first. They are all gone. But in time, none of the sleepers will survive. Then we are truly doomed. There must be a way. I am ashamed that my own fate causes tragedy. There must be a way. There is yet one shred of hope left, King Tryphon says. Menodia, the island of the healers. General Kiana sighs. I was told it was merely a story, my king. There are records of its existence, King Tryphon insists. The Forgotten Sea was the only hindrance in our learning the truth. The king's eyes, filled with need, turned to yours. The Menodians could help us in this dark hour, and you are just the one to find them. One look into the king's eyes and you know that you have no choice, but with that knowledge comes a terrible realization. If your journey to Menodia is destined, then so too was this plague, and unlike the meddling of Daggoras, this tragedy was meant to happen. All of it was part of the Weaver's plan. I am sure the Weavers have a higher purpose in mind. I will never forgive the Weavers for this. The Weavers have made a puppet of me, and I can only dance from the strings. I'm sure the Weavers already have plans. I'm sure they have a higher purpose in mind. You embark the next morning from Menodia. You have no way of knowing where it truly is, only that it lies beyond the Forgotten Sea. But as you did when you set forth from your village, you must trust your destiny above all. The waters you cross seem to carry you along more quickly, or perhaps it is only a trick of your memory. You cannot be sure, for you have stopped keeping count of the days. You are far too preoccupied thinking of Kalinos, the city that depends on me to save it, Menodia, and whether it even exists, poor Kiana's grief, and her lover's plight. Go ahead and focus on that, since apparently the story is focusing on that a lot. Look, Kiana calls from the stern. Look, Benjamin. You break from your thoughts and peer over the side of the boat, only to find a man in the water. He is thrashing about as though he has been dropped from the very sky, a wiry thing with eyes wide from panic, wearing a threadbare tunic. Help, he cries. Please help. It is strange indeed that someone should be lost at sea without another boat in sight, and yet the man is clearly imperiled. You and Kiana together pull him onto the vessel. You know that his tunic is the kind that peasants wear, the fabric coarse and leathery. He coughs up water, clears his throat, and speaks. I am so happy you brought me aboard, Benjamin. It was my pleasure. Were you doing here, sir? How the fuck did you know my name? The visitor smiles sadly. The same way the other gods learned it, champion, from the oracle. Who are you? You ask. The man wipes his hair down nervously. I fear that when you learn my name you will be angry. You may even do something rash, and you must not, Benjamin, for I am the only one who would dare reveal the things that I will tell you today. If you send me away, you will never know the truth. Who are you? You demand. Surely by now you have guessed. I am Daggoras. Sure. Asshole. Alright, what the fuck are you doing here? I should kill him. But he's a god, so I don't think I can do that. What are you doing here, you murderer? Daggoras puts a finger to his lips and whispers urgently. Lower your voice, Benjamin. My siblings are watching. They must not guess who I am. And why should I wish to preserve your secret? Because if the other gods recognize me, they will attack, and you will never know what I came here to tell you. Speak quickly, fiend. I will. Indeed I must, for your destiny will soon take hold, and force me from your presence. Daggoras seems truly concerned for you as well as for himself, but perhaps he is merely playing the part of a desperate mortal for the benefit of his observers. First, let us settle something between us. I realize that you likely think I am your enemy. In fact, my enemy has always been fate itself, and the weavers who created it. Do you understand? The end of destiny is what I hope to achieve by disrupting your path. I am to be comforted by the fact that you would think nothing of taking my life to achieve this. Was the death of my father part of your plan too? How would killing me end destiny? Why would we want to rid ourselves of destiny? Let's go with the first one. You would take a life too, if it were for a great purpose. You took Seba's life to release the soul she had imprisoned. You took Sarpedon's life to deliver the forgotten sea. So would I take your life to free all mortals from their imprisonment under the weavers. Have you ever imagined freedom, champion? Have you considered what the world would feel like if the choices you made were truly yours, and not merely the ones crafted for you by the weaver's unseen hands? That is the world I wish to bring to you. But I cannot bring it into being alone. The weavers have proven too powerful for me, and so I am appealing to you, champion. Deny your destiny. Turn away from your path. Do so, and you will release the world from the power of the weavers, and the mortals will be free again. Free again, you ask? What do you mean by that? Daggoras smiles bitterly. I am disappointed in you, Benjamin. Do you not yet realize what sets you people apart from the mortals of the First Age? Why those mortals were so powerful, while those in your time are so weak? Because in the First Age, the gods were new to their own creation, and in their ignorance they granted mortals the gift of magic. Nonsense, Daggoras barks. Any being with craft can harness the magic in this world, and wield it to his own ends. The magic of Agosa is all around you now, just waiting to be discovered. The gods' words make no sense. Then why is it that mortals of my own time do not use it, you ask? Because you are destined to remain ignorant of that magic. Indeed, that is the reason that your predecessors grew so powerful, for in the First Age there was no destiny at all. Okay, I was told that the weavers came before. That's interesting. To me it is tragic, for destiny has one simple purpose, to prevent mortals from realizing their true power. But how could the gods make destiny? How can something so vast have been built? It began after the Great Flood, Daggoras explains. As he speaks, his mortal disguise begins to slip. His beard begins to change into a tangle of noxious vines. His feet begin to turn into knotted roots. The gods had created their new race of mortals to replace the ones they destroyed, but they wanted to secure the obedience of their children, and so they crafted new gods. Gods designed to devote their very existence to mortals, to shepherd you ceaselessly, and devise every moment of your lives, through to your deaths, before you were even born. They call them weavers, the authors of fate, who were themselves authored by the gods. But weavers have always existed. Gods cannot simply be built. Tell me more. Tell me more. I shall, Daggoras intones. But now he has thick curling horns on his head, and moss where the skin of his legs used to be. There can be no mistaking him for human, yet his voice is still reasonable, even pained. I was there when the weavers were made, champion. Sophia conceived their shapes, Hetexa built their bodies in her foundry, Atesia gave them souls and craft. The weavers have worked tirelessly ever since, devising the future of mortals, and in so doing creating a world of perfect order. Where even chaos is scheduled according to the movement of Legolas's son. I was against it, of course, but I am not like my siblings. I do not need the world to bow before reason. What I need from Agosa flows naturally from its very being. The chaos that it is my dominion arises from very moment of time, even from time itself, or it did once before destiny reigned supreme. You're saying that the only thing destiny has truly unlimited is chaos. If you say that is true, then I wish to help you. I would be nothing without this destiny that weavers have crafted for me. I see nothing wrong with destiny if it prevents mortals from becoming as corrupt as Seba and Sarpedon. But imagine, champion, a world with no future beyond the one you have made yourself. Imagine a life filled with choices of your own, choices that do not depend upon the permission of the weavers. That is what I am offering you. Then I am offering both of us. You need only turn this boat back to Kalinos. Daggoras' disguise has faded entirely now. His face is a tangle of viny leaves. The horns on his head are thick and rigid. Even his hooves have searching roots, worming their way into the planks of the boat. There is but one vestige remaining in the first age. It lies in fabled Menodia, waiting for you to destroy it. Yet turn this boat around now, and that vestige will remain unharmed, and your prophecy unfulfilled. The weavers will die, one by one, until all mortals are truly free again, as they were in the first age. Daggoras has given me compelling reason to mistrust the gods. Perhaps I should do as he says. I am unconvinced by the reasoning of the blasphemous creature that stands before me. I find the prospect of living without destiny very attractive. Having encountered 2 survivors of the first age, I am unconvinced the god did wrong by destroying them. Yeah. And you know that Daggoras clearly hopes to feed on the chaos that would come from the demise of destiny. I cannot abandon Kalinos in its hour of need. Kiana's beloved Narula will perish if I follow Daggoras' bidding. Kalinos needs help. The people of Kalinos are relying on you to save them from the plague, and so, even if you were to question the wisdom of the gods, you would certainly never do as Daggoras suggests. But you do not need to tell him this, for he can read it all in your face. You watch his eyes narrow as the revelation that you will refuse to help him. You are but a toy, he says, a machine devised by yet another machine, and that is just what Agosa has become. It is not the world I knew in the first age. You do not know this word, machine, but from what Daggoras says you can surmise its meaning, something that will only do what it has been made to do. Daggoras raises his arm, lightning encircles his fingers, he is poised to strike you down. Then a terrible voice comes from the sky like 1,000 storms speaking at once. Enough! And with that, Daggoras is pulled into the air, as though by an invisible hand. The sky erupts in blue and purple light, and great silhouettes wrestle within the clouds. An unearthly silence descends, and the shadows disappear. One by one, the gods of Arcadis appear in the water surrounding your ship, each standing as tall as pillars. Sephil, Atesia, Sonus, Nidon, Hetexa, and Marina. They glow like the sun at dawn. Daggoras is our prisoner now, reveals the goddess of love. Legelis will hold him in the sky for as long as he can keep him there. Did Daggoras speak the truth, you ask? About the meaning of destiny? He did, Atesia explained, but you must understand, champion, destiny exists for your protection as well as ours. If the mortals were to again harness all the power of Agosa, the chaos of the first age would return. You consider this in light of Daggoras' revelation and decide that destiny is merely an expression of the gods' wish to protect us. The gods are fearful creatures who only wish to control us. Destiny is necessary evil to maintain order in a chaotic world. The gods are every bit as corrupt as the mortals of the first age. The third one. Will you tell them as much? No, I see no reason to flatter their power. Yes, the gods deserve to know that I support them. No, let my loyalty express itself in my actions. There we go. Atesia and Hetexa, the goddess of war, bring their hands together. Before they can touch, a silken cord appears between them. They offer it to you. We beg you to accept this gift, Atesia says, for your loyalty to the path of mercy. It will endow you with powers that will be of use when you come to Menodia, the gifts of both charm and command. Sure. Receive the silken cord. The cord wiggles its way through the air like a snake through a stream. It ties itself around your left arm and promptly vanishes. It has become part of you. There is a rumble of distant thunder. We can tarry here no more. Your destiny is taking hold. Keep your wits about you, champion. The last vestige of the first age awaits you in Menodia. Another mortal of the first age? A fragment of the first age. That is true. That much is true, but not a mortal one. Indeed, the final vestige does not live. It merely exists. As these words echo over the forgotten sea, the gods vanish together. And that's the end of this chapter, so I feel like that would be a pretty good place to leave off, and we will pick up again next time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.